Ashley, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well. So I love that you go from the ancient texts and the witch's mark and fear street to the ancient texts and symbols and the lost symbol.
Right. I'm getting past as as in mythological adjacent figures.
Right. So are you someone that loves puzzles and decoding things, or is that just a coincidence?
Yeah, I do. I do. It's been I've sort of convinced myself that doing the crossword every morning, playing chess is a part of my preparation, but it's actually just something that I enjoy anyway.
And I hear the sounds of Toronto. Did our city treat you well?
They do treat me well. It's been really wonderful. We started just before the city opened up again, so it's been nice seeing the city slowly open up. And yeah.
So I'm ahead of myself. For those that don't know, tell them about the lost symbol and a little about Robert Langdon.
Sure. So the lost symbol, I think a lot of people would already know, or people who are drawn to the material, they'd know that it's the third book of the series. But in our story, we use it as a jumping off point for his origin story. So in our world, Robert Langdon is 20-ish, 15, 20 years younger. It's something he has just lived an academic life. He hasn't done anything outside of himself or demanded that he come outside of himself.
Right.
And so he is a young professor of history, someone who knows a lot, but perhaps doesn't have a lot of wisdom. He
Right.
doesn't have a lot of life experience, so he has perhaps trouble finding trusting his feelings, I'd say.
Mm. And I'm sure the script and the costumes were super instrumental, but tell me about how you went about crafting your portrayal of him. Did you know the movies? Did you read the books? Did you have conversations with Ron Howard and Brian Grazer about him? I'm curious.
Well, luckily I hadn't read the books yet before auditioning, which, lucky I got the role, but lucky I hadn't read them, so that once I did read them, I had 3,000 pages of material to mine for clues about who this guy was, and that was
right.
That's just rare. It's just absolutely rare. So I looked for clues. Because I knew we were telling an origin story. The book were the story of someone who I will become. So I was looking for like small little behaviors that I could pull at and go, why, what led to that behavior, and then come up with something. The claustrophobia is something that's integral to the character, and it's something that I enjoyed pulling on and asking, like, so what does that mean exactly? Why claustrophobia, and is there a parallel between that and also his inability to connect with others? Does he also have social claustrophobia? Is he afraid of? And I think so that's sort of how I went about doing it. But then otherwise, once the script started coming in, it was all about our story, and our story is just very specific.
Mm-hmm. So in episodes I saw, you don't share very many scenes with them, but what was it like having scenes with Eddie Izzard? What was it like working with them?
She's fantastic. Yeah, we get to work. We're still like a few episodes away from finishing the season, but we get to work together a lot more. She's, she's remarkable. I think she's just incredibly unique, and I think we're very lucky. It's a gift to be able to have her in that role, because it is someone who thinks and works on a different level, and that's what you get with Eddie.
And I also love your scenes with Valorie Curry. I love your banter, and it really does feel like you two had known each other for years. You feel that history between the two of them. So what was it like building that dynamic with her?
It was right from the beginning. That's also a banter and a connection we have off screen as well. Like, we're ribbing each other constantly. It's just been a real pleasure. We work this way. We really like connecting on the material together and connecting in the scenes together and finding little things, and scenes never end up the way I expect. it always goes somewhere else. And yeah, it's just been a real joy. It's been a real pleasure.
Oh. And I love the nods to Indiana Jones with the wall crashing in, and then your conversation about which decade is better and bringing up Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. And then I also loved your decoding the Hebrew text. You got to speak Hebrew a little bit. So what were some of your favorite scenes or moments to film?
You know, I do, you know, all those things are so much fun, and they add to the stakes of the show. And you know, I can't remember, which episodes have you seen?
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, 3. Okay, so
yeah.
Oh no. Okay, I was about to say something. There are some really big pieces that are really fun, and it's fun that we're making a show that traverses a bunch of genres, but for me, it is the scenes that it's when all of that stops and we just connect with one another, and two minds that are just working against each other. That's what I enjoy, you know, more than anything.
Mm-hmm. So, without spoiling anything, what are you excited for fans to see this season?
You know, I think what they're really gonna, I hope what they love is, you know, it's a character that people have some connection to already, either through the books or the movies. And I hope that what they see is that, you know, they should keep that connection to that character. That's something we will lean on. And that the person we're portraying is, you know, will grow into that person that they love. And I think that they'll enjoy seeing the clues and how that will work. They'll see how, you know, he's not as fully formed or as rigid as the person who he becomes. So he's still got a choice. Is he going to be like that, or is he going to be someone else? And we sort of slowly see him become that person. And I think that might be.
Right. And so, including Eddie Izzard, you've had some exceptional scene partners: Rachel Brosnahan, Sarah Snook, Kate Mara. You didn't share any scenes with Jeremy Strong and Caitlin Fitzgerald, I don't think, on Masters of Sex, but you were on Masters of Sex and Succession at the same time. I love that connection.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that's apt. I did a reading with Jeremy Strong a few years before I met him on Succession, but no, yeah, I think I did Master of Sex like a couple of years before, but that was just as
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Fear Street. Olivia Welch was saying in our interview she loved the road trip that you all took. So tell me about some of your favorite, you know, scene partners, favorite experiences filming over the years.
You know, it's been the shows you've pointed out have been like I've had a really fun few years, just especially because of the people I've been able to work with. Olivia and the rest of the cast of Fear Street, I think, are worth like saying now, is that just if anyone hasn't seen those films yet, I couldn't recommend them more highly. That they are such a special group of young actors, and it was remarkable to be amongst them and to see them and to see how original they were from day one. They're really an extraordinary group of people. So if anyone hasn't seen them, I couldn't recommend them more highly.
And finally, what have you been watching lately that you've been really into?
You know, I try when I'm working to just, you know, the instinct to just get home and just turn on some kind of something comfortable is really strong. And so I try not to do that. I don't always succeed, but so like there's always the choice to go to the Criterion collection or to something else. And so I was able to go to the Criterion collection last night. So, and I watched The Rat King, which is an old movie, which was extraordinary. So that's yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for your art. Thank you for the work. Thank you for the show. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing day, Ashley.
Yeah.